welcome back. Last month at the concert for New York City, Paul McCartney debuted his single Freedom from his new album, which comes out tomorrow. Today, in part one of a two-part interview, Paul candidly addresses two strained relationships in his life, Yoko Ono and Michael Jackson. One-on-one with Paul McCartney. Tonight's Inside Story.
I've really got a lot. I'm a very lucky guy, so I'm happy.
This is my right.
And with good reason. His first album of new material in 4 years, Driving Rain, is getting rave reviews, as is his moving new benefit single, Freedom, which he wrote after the terrorist attacks.
I'm talking about freedom.
But when Paul and I sat down, there were a couple of issues from his past that he wanted to get off his chest.
We don't have that great a relationship, put it that way.
Just look at my face, these tears ain't drying.
But there once was a time in the mid-'80s that Michael and McCartney were pals. They'd made music together. But then Michael went to Paul for some investment tips and, well...
I gave him advice to get into music publishing, when he was asking me for some business advice. And I thought he was joking. He sort of said, I'm going to get yours. And I thought, hey, good one.
Turned out to be no joke. Paul and John Lennon lost the rights to the Beatles songs they wrote in the 60s. When they were up for sale in 1985, Michael snatched them up for a mere $40 million. So today, Michael owns over 200 Beatle tunes, a deal Paul is not happy with.
Have you tried to get your music back from him?
No, not really. I wrote him a letter, and I said, okay, you know, I've been with this company you now own for 30 years, and we've had great success. How's about varying my deal? It's what you do for good guys. And he never answered my letter, you know, so it was like, just,
Does it break your heart that you don't have him, or?
No, not really. My kids are mad as hell.
I would think.
It would be great, yeah, for me to own Yesterday, let's say, because it came in a dream. I wrote it on my own, and there's only me on the record with a string quartet. And Michael, can you hear me?
Certainly, I'm not half the man I used to be.
In fact, it was Yesterday which Paul performed at VH1's The Concert for New York City that caused friction with Lennon's widow, Yoko Ono. As they were working on the Beatles anthology 6 years ago, a problem arose over an agreement John and Paul made as Beatles. Every song they wrote would be credited to Lennon and McCartney in that order.
So I thought, you know, it'd be really cool if that one song on this one record could just be Yesterday by Paul McCartney and John Lennon. I wasn't trying to elbow John out at all. And I rang up and asked for that as a favor, and it was refused. And I thought, wait a minute, you weren't even there when I wrote it.
Do you think John would really care at this point?
I certainly don't think he would, no. He used to get a little bit pissed off, actually, because he'd go into a restaurant, and the pianist would go, dun-dun-dun, doo-doo-doo, go, I didn't write that one. You know, play me Strawberry Fields.
So this whole thing with Yoko is going to be talked about and blowing up. Is it?
You know, the thing is,
friends?
Look, you know, she's a nice lady. It's okay. You know, we don't have a bad relationship, but we don't really have a great relationship. And so I kind of like to leave it there.
Sir Paul McCartney. Tomorrow in part two of our interview, Paul talks about the two loves of his life, his late wife Linda and his fiancée Heather. Once again tomorrow, Paul's critically acclaimed album, It's Good, Driving Rain, hit stores.